Hey, everybody, welcome back to Drunkards Walk the Podcast. It is I, Jethro Nolan, and as much as I would love to have this audio stage all to myself so that I could take my thoughts and beliefs and whimsical notions and put them into your ears, it is too much of a burden for me to bear alone. So I'm very fortunate that the left ear to my right ear for you today is none other than Matt Hartman, who's here with me.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be an ear with you, Jethro.
Good one. You got it on
that.
You got it on the second try.
Well, I'm glad that you could point that out. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. And I guess that makes the listener the brain of this whole operation. Does that sound right? I
suppose so. I mean, who's to say where sound begins? Is it when the air molecules vibrate, or is it where they hit the tympanic membrane, the basilar membrane, where they get translated into electrical signal in the brain of the listener? Or is it when those various electrical signals are composed and communicated to the conscious mind as a coherent sound? Who's to say, Matt? Who's to say?
Certainly not I. I was just saying that if I'm the left ear and you're the right ear, they're in the middle. That's all I was saying. You've taken it way further than I ever imagined. So well done. I
mean, we do have my spinoff podcast, Explore the Metaphor More, in which I take a single metaphor and I spend far too much time on it. But again, that's for premium subscribers only. So, So Matt, in a way, this meandering path that we've been going on about where sound begins is kind of similar to what we do on the podcast, right?
I would say so. I mean, we do meander quite a bit as part of the podcast, and since the podcast has already begun, this is just adding to that meandering, I suppose.
But meandering confined through the medium of Wikipedia.
Yes, the Wikimedia, if you will.
There you go.
And we will indeed be traveling from one page on Wikipedia, one topic, to a new page or topic on Wikipedia. And we know where we're starting because it's where we stopped last week. But where will we end, Jethro?
I have no idea. I didn't bring a destination. Did you bring a destination?
No, I didn't bring a destination because generally we leave that up to the guest that we bring on to the podcast.
Well, I didn't bring a guest. Did you bring a guest?
I did bring a guest. Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
Fortunately for you, I searched through my house and I found none other than my very own father-in-law, Mike Eveleigh, and he's here with us now. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jethro.
Well, thanks for coming. You traveled across the pond to come and do this with us, and we really appreciate. We know that that's the only reason that you came to the U.S. was to record this episode, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was. Yeah, for no other reason.
No, and because you can't do this remotely, Jethro. Did you know that?
I was aware that you can't do it remotely.
No, you can't. You have to be in the same house in order to do it. That's how you and I have been so successful so far, Jethro.
Indeed.
But no, it's awesome that you're here. So Mike and his lovely wife Susan are visiting our family. They arrived a couple weeks ago, and they'll be here for a couple more weeks. We get to spend a little bit of Christmas time with them, and it's just been delightful having them here because we haven't seen you guys in 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's just over 2 years.
Yeah, because pandemic. And so there wasn't a lot of international travel going on, but we were fortunate enough to get him over here, and so delighted that you're here. And of course, this is Emma's parents, and you all, you've listened to the podcast. You must know who Emma is. She was on twice this season, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
As part of the Wives episode, and then a
special surprise.
What do we call it? Special surprise ambush. I like to think of it as.
I call it the Alexander Ovechkin episode.
Yeah.
It's easy to remember. It's easy to remember his name.
Yeah, it is. So this is her dad, and so tell us, Mike, tell us something about Emma when she was growing up. Something that will really embarrass her. That's what I'm looking for here. You got anything like that?
Yeah, of course. Well, we have two children.
okay.
Emma is the youngest.
Sure.
She's very good at malapropisms.
Oh,
Very
I
nice.
see. Do you have any that you recall in particular?
There's not one that I recall, but there's one I can think about from years ago, which was instead of pineapple, pineapple.
Nice.
Nice. I love it. I think I'm going to start using that around the house for sure. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about you. You have had a really interesting career path. You started out as a police officer, right?
Yeah, I actually, that was by pure accident, really, because I'd planned to go on for further education at university, but I didn't quite get the grades that I wanted. And in those days, they wouldn't let you have another go at it. They do now, but it wasn't going to happen then. So my grandmother, who lived with us, saw an advert in the local newspaper that was wanting actually police cadets. Now, I don't know whether they have those here. Police cadets are like, well, they're below rookies, for want of a better word.
Yeah. I think they have that here,
much younger. They really get to grips with office type work. So at 17, I joined, and then at 18 and a half, I went to the police training school. And then you come out of that as a rookie for 2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
But I don't know whether it was a mistake. I got myself involved with a murder investigation when I was just short of 21, and that individual was caught as a result of me picking up some descriptive evidence from a witness. And lo and behold, on my 21st birthday, and that was the 2 years of probation that they said to me, well, yeah, you are now confirmed as a police officer, and I'd like to invite you into the CID then, the Criminal Investigation Department.
Wow.
I became a detective at 21. Now, I didn't know, but I was the youngest ever in that police force to become a detective. So by the time I was 25, which is when I got married, I was a seasoned detective. And then I moved into homicide later.
Wow. Yeah, it's really something to watch true crime stuff. With
I love
Mike.
it.
He's very involved, and he's very well. That's not. Well, I'm not sure if they should have done it that way. And well, this is what's going to happen there. And it's really it's a new perspective that I've ever had, certainly.
Well, and I come at from the side of the criminal, so I'm glad I've blurred all of the background on my Zoom call so that the many pieces of incriminating evidence that are lying around my office are not visible.
That's right. And then, and then you worked that for a while, and then you became the owner of a restaurant, right, or a co-owner of a restaurant for a while.
Well, that was I retired from the police, and we did. My wife Susan and good friends of ours that we've known for a long time. We became we opened a restaurant. We had that for 7 years. Yeah, it was called Fat Mamas.
Fat Mamas. There you go.
Yeah, and it was Mediterranean sort of bistro type stuff, and it was great. I mean, you met some really nice people. Really good friends we've made during that business venture.
Very nice.
And that was located near where you. I guess we haven't mentioned where you're from. I mean, I think probably folks have figured out that you're from the UK because we mentioned across the pond, and they can hear your accent. Yeah. Tell them specifically where you're from.
There's a piece of land which is a peninsula that sticks out between two rivers, the River Dee and the River Mersey. And the other side of the River Mersey is, of course, where you get the ferry across the Mersey to Liverpool, and that's the big city that's nearby. In fact, it was that city that I was in policed in the homicide division. But that's where we're from. We're from. It's actually colloquially known as the other side of the water.
Well, there you go.
So I think do you have the South Side here? Yeah,
we do. We have a place called the South Side. Yeah, it's nothing like that at all. Yeah, where you're from is much nicer than the south
Yeah,
side,
it is. There's a lot of rural areas, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to visit, and it's fantastic. I can't wait to get back there and see it again once we can travel internationally as well. So thank you for coming on and agreeing to do this. And we'll talk a little bit about your other kind of hobby / occupation here in a moment, I think, because if I'm not mistaken, your topic is going to tie into that. I think you mentioned to me. So what topic did you bring to us to try to travel to today?
Well, it was basically radio in a slightly different sort of format, and it's a radio that serves a hospital. And some other places, which actually are a couple of miles away from where we live. Now I'd started doing, well, it's 49 years I've been doing it. And if you roll back the time a little bit further than that, I started to get interested in things like that when I was 11 years of age, and I passed an exam to go to a grammar school, and my parents bought me a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I never had one, but I've seen them
in museums. And I started to mess about with this, and lo and behold, I really enjoyed it. And a couple of years late. There was also at that time around the coastal areas of the UK. They brought in ships, pirate radio ships. They were called.
Sure.
And basically, that was the American format for radio that was being broadcast into the UK, because all we had really was the BBC, which is BBC radio in those days was appalling. Television was okay. It was okay mainly because you got American stuff, but the radio service was really not fit for kids, and teenagers.
Sure.
So I got interested in that and thought, hey, do a little bit of stuff here, did a demonstration tape, sent it to the BBC. And they said, oh, we like that. The producer wrote back, of course, no mobile phones, actually no landline. We didn't have a landline in those days. So they sent a letter back and basically said, oh, we like that. We'd like you to come to London and have an audition. But when I told them I was 14 years of age, it didn't really go down very well. And basically they said, come back at 21. Well, my career paths had changed by then.
Sure.
So, but I did get into, at the age of 21, this hospital radio service, which provides education, information, entertainment to people who are in hospital, also staff, also other people that work there, non-medical people, and visitors. And today it broadcasts on AM, and it can be heard all over that little peninsula of land called the Wirral Peninsula, as well as provide a service for the hospital.
And it's online as well too, right?
It's online. It can be heard anywhere now. We stream it. It's on the net, so it can be heard anywhere.
So what's the name of the destination that we're going? Is it hospital radio or is it?
No, it's Radio Clatterbridge.
Radio Clatterbridge.
Yeah, and the Clatterbridge is all one word.
Spelled just like it sounds?
Is it?
Yeah.
Two T's, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
2 T's.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and so and you host. Is it specifically one show that you host, or do you do multiple things on there?
Programs. There are 4. 4 1-hour programs: Saturday lunchtime, Sunday lunchtime, and as well as that, for my sins, there's a group of 5 of us, and we very loosely call each other the executive, and we make decisions on where the station's going to go, what we're going to do. We raise money because it's all charitable donations where nobody gets paid. There's 30 members, so there's others that do it as well. Others too who have some medical conditions, and actually broadcasting helps that medical condition. There's certainly one guy who's got problems he's got some mental depression and so on.
Mhm.
Sure.
And that's helping him. And he's only 25, it's quite sad. And
Yeah.
the lockdown, I'm not going to go on about that, has caused him real problems.
Sure.
But doing that helps him out.
Yeah.
The actual audience is patients, and the hospital. It's an oncology hospital. And of course, there are people there who are dreadfully unwell.
Mhm.
Some who are not really going to survive, and also adjacent is a hospice for adults, and there's also a hospice for children.
Wow.
And the delights that we get from bringing kids in, they're again dreadfully sick, but in wheelchairs, and they bring them into the studio, and we allow them to say things and play music that they want to play and say things that they want to say. But it's so upsetting when you find out a couple of months later that they're not with us anymore. So there's that to it, and there's a lot of people who really come forward and donate money to keep us on the air, which is great.
Well, that's great. That's so if you're listening to this podcast right now and you'd like to donate some money, you can go online, I'm sure, and you can find Radio Clatterbridge and send them some support, because they're obviously supporting those folks who are pretty ill. And the format. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Jethro.
Well, I was just going to say it makes us shallow and pathetic, because it's a far more noble cause being served in your audio format than the smart alecky wisecracking guys who are helping nobody other than briefly distracting people.
Oh, make no mistake, we've got one or two of those, but they fit in well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that there are a couple of them out there.
The format of your programs are music, right? You're playing.
Yeah, it is. There's lunch times from 12 noon till 1 every day. Is they call it midday memories, and basically, certainly what I do on Saturday and Sunday is pick a couple of charts, top tens, which fit neatly into a half an hour, and they'll do another one from the Billboard charts, which is a little bit. They've got and they call in and guess the year. That's
okay.
And some of them are really good at it, and they say, why don't you just not say who the artist is and ask us that? So sometimes we do that, but not often. And then there's other shows. There's we do on Sunday from 1 till 2 is the American Top 20, and that's out of Heart FM in LA. We take their chart, and the only reason we do that is because the adult contemporary chart is much better than Billboard's chart. We like hip hop, but we've got to be real careful with it. I can understand that. And we've got another one the Saturday lunchtime one from 1 till 2 is the Soul of Clatterbridge, the SOUL of Clatterbridge, and that attracts online quite an audience in the United States.
Very nice.
I don't know where that comes from. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. So check it out. Go look up Radio Clatterbridge, either to listen or to donate or whatever you want to do, because you're going to recognize one of the voices at least on there. So and probably quite a bit of the music as well. This is great, Jethro. Do you have any additional questions about this?
So it sounds like a fantastic endeavor. And does it have a Wikipedia page? Is it?
Yes, it does.
Wikipedia famous? Is that how?
Yes, it does. But then it gives all sorts of links back to the website. So if people can't remember the link to the website, there are links there to.
Excellent.
To it,
There you go. Well, this has been awesome. I want to thank you again so much for coming on and giving us this topic. This is going to be a lot of fun, and really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. You're very welcome. It's nice meeting you, Jethro. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
All right,
Jethro. So we have a challenge ahead of us here, because we are going to have to travel from last week's destination, which was Gilda Radner.
There we go.
Off to Radio Clatterbridge.
Indeed.
Which is got to be one of the more specific topics we've ever gotten, right?
It is a bit of a bullseye there.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've got a lot of promising possibilities. So
Oh, sure.
But first,
we do. Well, we're
we need to write down
for
our
an
guesses.
entertainer, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to write down our guesses. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and write down our guesses. I'm going to write down mine. Gosh. Okay. All right. I got it.
I'm so glad it sounded like it caused you a great deal of pain.
Oh, hey, you know what's going to help me out? I got a little drink here.
Oh, do you there?
I'm going to take a little sip.
What are you having there?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jethro. It's the new year. It's 2022. 2021 is behind us. And to celebrate the new year, I decided to bring in a fancy one here. I've got the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, which I may have had once or twice before, but this is 129.7 proof. So
wow.
Stand back. Yeah. This particular bottle, I just finished a bottle off. There was like a little tiny bit left, so I poured that and then a little bit out of this new one. The one I just finished was bottled on 3/19/19.
Ooh.
That's when that was bottled.
Like
this was bottled.
Pandemic Eve.
You know, I thought that, but then I realized, no, that was 3/19/20.
Ah, there you go.
Because I did the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this one was bottled almost right when but no.
Time has no meaning anymore.
This bottle, though, that I'm drinking out of now, bottled on 11/5/21. So just a few moments ago.
It's a baby bottle.
Geologically speaking. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic, it's nice. It is super strong. It is what I would have a drink of every now and again in the early days of the pandemic, because I was like, well, it's over 60% alcohol. So if I get coronavirus, it will kill it immediately in my mouth.
That is...
it's not true, but it is what I like to believe. How about you, buddy? You having anything to drink tonight?
Well, as it happens, I think the average proof of the liquids being consumed will remain unchanged for this, because I've gone to the opposite end of the spectrum.
I see.
I'm starting off the new year right by drinking a big old fashioned glass of water.
I see.
From the Pittsburgh Municipal Water System.
You've got the 0 proof, and I've got the 129. So we're gonna equal. We're gonna average out.
There you go. But it is my promise to both you and the listener that I will remain as interrupty and snarky as I always am when I'm drinking.
And belligerent, Jethro? Belligerent too?
That's assumed, you moron.
Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad. I feel much better now.
All right, then.
All right, well, let's get rolling here. We are starting on Gilda Radner's page, and as I was about to point out before you reminded me that we had to make our guesses, Gilda Radner's an entertainer.
She is.
And we're going to radio, so I feel like there's somewhat of a connection here, right? There's got to be some
absolutely. And I'll throw this morbid possibility out there. She died of cancer.
Oh.
And he mentioned that it was an oncology hospital. I'm not saying we're going there. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Why do you have to do that? Good Lord.
Listen, I gotta call. Hey, listen, we're all thinking it. I'm brave enough to say it.
It's definitely not true that we were all thinking it. But what I am thinking is I already see something on here. I was really excited because it says from 1974 to 1975, Radner was a featured player on the National Lampoon Radio Hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we're getting into radio. But of course, National Lampoon is linked. Radio Hour, not linked.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll also say that there is the possibility of getting more specifically into UK radio if we can find some of the Monty Python people. And I can't imagine that we're too far from the Monty Python people, because all of those guys worked for the BBC, which has both radio and television divisions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And plus, we get to go through Monty Python, which is my Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. So do you think that there's Monty Python people on this page somewhere?
There certainly could be. I mean, if not, then definitely somebody who links to the Monty Python people are listed on this page.
This is very geographical, but United Kingdom is linked on here.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been our commitment to the good people of the podcast that we're going to, unless absolutely necessary, forgo a geographic route, because there's just no joy and discovery in that.
There is Cedars-Sinai Medical Center on here, which is a hospital, much like Clatterbridge. So that's a possibility as well. I'm not seeing. I am not, other than United Kingdom itself being linked. I haven't found a lot of UK performers on here yet.
It's so true. It's so true.
There are quite a few. The Jim Henson Company is on here now. I know they did a lot of work in the UK. In fact, the Muppet Show was in fact filmed.
Indeed.
In the UK. So.
And I definitely recall John Cleese appearing in the Muppet movie, or perhaps the Great Muppet Caper. I can't recall which.
He's in the Great Muppet Caper. Yes.
Okay.
He's in a scene in the Great Muppet Caper. Oh, the Muppet Show itself is actually linked on here, so we could actually just go straight to the Muppet Show, which would get us into England and the UK, and not using geography, but perhaps maybe that's a good way to go.
Where do you see the Muppet Show linked?
Down under television, it has a list of like different things that she was in, and she was in an episode of the Muppet Show. As herself, of course. Reading Rainbow is also on here. It's Gary Shandling's show is on here.
I like the Muppet Show. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you think that's the best one? So you haven't found any of the members of
Monty Python? I have not.
Okay.
However, I have. There are Primetime Emmy Award winners. There's Grammy Award winners. Grammys could get us into music and or radio production.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I guess I like Muppet Show a little better just because it is UK and entertainment. But you're right. I mean, there's recording artists on here. There's soundtrack album is linked on here. I mean, there's a lot of music stuff. But I think I agree with you, man. I think I want to go through the Muppet Show because I like the Muppet Show. I'm not going to say as much as I like Star Trek, but I like it quite a bit. I'm a big fan of the Muppet Show. So.
I'm glad that you agree with my agreeing with you.
Yeah,
I
do agree. I do agree with your agreement. Let's go to the Muppet Show.
Fantastic, and we're off. It's funny because the Muppet Show series was coming out on DVD right around the time that my daughter was Penny's age, and I bought them because I, of course, love the Muppet Show and wanted my daughter to enjoy them because they weren't yet available on streaming. And so I, as you do with a child, you foist your, 30-year-old television loves onto them.
Oh yeah.
And then for a while, my daughter was really into like obscure 70s celebrities. She was like,
"Oh, really?
That Sandy Duncan is incredible. What's she doing nowadays?"
Oh, that's fantastic. My daughter hasn't quite. She's not. I've tried to show her Muppet things, and she hasn't quite gotten into them. She's not quite there.
Here's your path. Yeah. Here's your path.
Yeah. What's the way in?
I'll tell you the path. I don't know if this applies to everyone, but from what I know about Penny specifically, is she's huge into Star Wars.
I mean, she does like Star Wars quite a bit. Yes.
You point out, hey, Yoda, that's this guy. Let me show you another thing this guy did, and boom, you take the Frank Oz bridge from Star Wars into the Muppets.
She's not quite there yet with the idea that a person is voicing Yoda, but what I will say is there is an episode of The Muppet Show with Mark Hamill, and like Chewbacca's in that.
That's another possibility.
Droids, so I think that might be a good path. She watched quite a bit of the Muppet Babies, the new version of the Muppet Babies, which is on.
I didn't even know there was a new version.
Oh yeah. Scooter and Skeeter, not main players in that show. They show up occasionally, and they have photos in the background. But you know who's in there?
Who?
Summer the Penguin. Yeah, you probably never heard of her because she was invented just for this new Muppet Babies show. Yeah.
I'll take it. Breaking news. I do see a link to John Cleese listed as a guest star.
Okay, good.
Also, Peter Sellers. And between the two of them, Peter Sellers definitely started more on the radio. So he might be a better connection to UK radio than John Cleese is.
It's true. I wonder how much... I see Michael Caine and Tim Curry on here as well.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Why do we fall, sir? So what would... Is there going to be a connection through like BBC radio into something like that, do you think? Or
so if you go down to the bottom, there's a section for soundtracks, which references UK albums, UK singles chart, and UK official albums chart.
Right.
So those might be possibilities.
What I'm saying is, are we going to be able to get from how am I putting this? are those things going to lead us into various little radio stations that are throughout the country? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Possibly.
Okay.
Unless you know of a person who worked explicitly at Clatterbridge Radio.
No. Well, I do. Mike Eveleigh.
Does Mike Eveleigh have a Wikipedia page?
No, I don't believe that is the case.
Well, then I'm struggling for another route other than through radio.
I don't really know of any either. I don't even know how. Yeah, I don't even know how else we would get there. So I guess that makes the most sense.
Because we could try to go through a hospital, but hospitals, and again, this is not to throw any shade about the wonderful work that's happening at Clatterbridge Radio, but the radio production is not at the top of the list of things that hospitals do. And I would expect those more important functions to be more prominently featured on any hospital Wikipedia page.
Well, I guess I feel like if there was and I don't, let's not get this wrong. I don't even know if it's called Clatterbridge Hospital. I assume that it is, but I don't know that for certain. That
would have been a good question for us to ask.
It would have been. So I do feel that if we were to, if that exists as a page and that is a thing, that would have, that would talk about the radio station. I do believe that would be the case, but I've been wrong before, Jethro.
It's true.
Once or twice.
It's true.
Once or twice.
You know what? We've both been wrong.
Have we? I feel like it's mainly me.
I mean, this season, certainly, yeah. But,
yeah.
I'm sure deep in the dark recesses of history, I've been wrong once or twice.
You know, there's categories at the bottom, which I don't want to take, but there are British, there's all sorts of like British sketch shows and things like that listed down there.
I mean, that might be a fun rabbit hole experience.
Yeah. That's true. Well, okay. So who do you want to go through here, or what? Do you think that these UK album roots, like with a U, not an O, are the way to go? Or do you think that it's, Peter Sellers or...
well, Peter Sellers had a big hit called The Goon Show that he and Spike Milligan did on radio in UK back in the day. I guess my biggest question is, maybe I'm unnecessarily obsessed with the BBC because I don't know when the BBC was started or founded. But we definitely get into British radio through Peter Sellers.
Okay.
Well, and whereas John Cleese, like I actually did in speech and debate in like 8th grade or something, I did
oh boy, this is going to be good.
A piece, Mannion and Moore's Dr. Y and the Thing.
Whoa. That
I was told by my 8th grade English teacher, Mr. Bledsoe, was originally done by, my 7th grade English teacher, Mr. Bledsoe. Was originally done by John Cleese, although I've never been able to find an audio version of it because this was pre-internet days back when it was paper.
Sure.
But I think Peter Sellers is the better connection to radio just because he's older and definitely had a well-regarded radio show called The Goon Show.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm certainly willing to go check it out. So I guess we'll go through Peter Sellers, and Peter Sellers is linked
under guest stars. So if you go down to the third paragraph, Rita Moreno won Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Performance in a Variety Music Program for her appearance, which, by the way, totally deserved. She's fantastic in her episode.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the next year, Peter Sellers, who chose not to appear as himself, instead appeared in a variety of characters, as was his wont.
Yes.
Peter Sellers is famous for sort of having zero personality whatsoever, and he only exists in the character that he's doing. Yeah. And he's in the most recent Beatles documentary, Get Back, because he and Ringo Starr were filming a movie, and the soundstage that they were rehearsing on was the one that they were going to film that movie on, the Magic Christian. Anyway, so Peter Sellers stops by our Beatles rehearsal and just sort of sits and chats with them. And it's true. He's got no personality whatsoever. He's very boring.
I see. All right. Well, let's find out more about him, shall we?
Indeed. Peter Sellers. Here it is.
What's happening to me?
This article is about the English actor for the New Zealand sports broadcaster. Oh, boy.
What?
Or there's an American director named Peter Sellers as well.
I had no idea that these things were the truth, but I do see that it talks about the Goon Show very early on. In the BBC radio comedy series, The Goon Show. BBC Radio not linked.
I expect that it's got to be linked somewhere further down the article.
You expect that, huh? Oh, there it is. I found it already. BBC Radio.
It seemed like
a paragraph down.
Your panic was unwarranted.
Woof. Oh, I feel so much better now. Yeah, so there it is. So BBC Radio is there. So that may be, I mean, I don't want to jump there immediately, but I feel like that might be a good way to go.
Oh, totes.
Unless maybe, is he from Clatterbridge? Is that a place? Could he be from a place called Clatterbridge? No?
Again, these are all great questions we should have asked Mike while he was here.
Yeah, it is a good thing to, because there's a lot of like I hear a lot of names of places, or what, like I'll think that they're a place and it's like, oh no, that's just it's much smaller than you're thinking. It's not like a city or a town or something. It's just an estate or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Blackpool, I see on here.
He's from Southsea. Or
that doesn't tell me anything.
I'm looking at the categories down below. Well, I figured that England, actors from Portsmouth, people from Southsea.
Southsea.
Deaths from coronary thrombosis.
Yeah, no, don't know any of that.
All right then.
BBC third program, a national radio station produced and broadcast from 1946 until 1967, replaced by Radio 3. That's interesting.
Did you click on
interesting?
Did you click on the BBC Radio link already?
No. I haven't clicked on anything.
Okay.
I'm just walking on through here, looking at things like Alec Guinness, who is from. I want to say he's from Northern England, which is where this is all located. So we want to go through Alec Guinness, but that's we're going to wind up going through geography that way now. So don't, Matt, be quiet.
I'm glad you said it finally.
Yeah, the Manchester Guardian, I see on here. The UK album chart is back again, as we did not follow it last time. We could follow it this time. Edinburgh. Yeah. UK singles chart is back.
I see a link to The Party. I saw that in college. The Party is a 1968 film directed by Blake Edwards, which I'm going to get. I saw it and got it, I don't know, in 1998. And it hadn't aged well then.
Oh, no.
But no, Peter Sellers plays a man of Indian descent in I guess blackface is not the appropriate term, but with darkened skin tones and a exaggerated accent that almost certainly will win us no favors should we broadcast it.
Yikes. Okay. Well, let's not talk about that anymore then. How's that sound?
There you go.
Buckingham Palace is on here. There's Ringo Starr. He's definitely from Liverpool.
Absolutely. But then the specter of geography looms large.
It does loom large, but my concern is that that's going to be a much better path. I know it's geographic, but
are we here to finish as quickly as possible, or are we here to have a good time?
Our goal is to finish as quickly as possible. Remember when that was our goal?
I feel like having fun.
You're saying let's have some fun, huh?
I'm saying let's have some fun. Also, like BBC Radio. Hey, exciting things could be lurking behind that link.
Well, as he pointed out, BBC Radio, not good back in the day. But
given that our destination is a radio station, I feel like
I agree.
Right in the ballpark.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, well, I don't see anything else on here. I mean, I've given you a bunch of other things I've seen actually, but as far as all of that is concerned, I'm going to say the BBC Radio is going to be the best way to go. I'm going to have to venture back up to the top of the page here to find out again, but yeah, I think that's the way to go.
All right, fantastic.
Oh, wait.
What?
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry. There's a thing called the Entertainment's National Service Association, and I thought maybe that might be a collection of various broadcasting things and whatever. No, it's an organization established in 1939 by Basil Dean and Leslie Henson to provide entertainment for British Armed Forces personnel during World War II.
Oh, I'm so glad we got that caught up.
Not at all what I thought it would be. But BBC Radio, let's just do it. Let's stop talking about it and just do it.
All right. Fantastic. So the British Broadcasting Company has their own radio division.
They do.
And there it is.
Oh, so there is a link. It says the service provides national radio stations covering the majority of musical genres, as well as local radio stations. And local radio is, well, it's local BBC radio. That's what it takes you to.
Okay.
Page for local BBC radio. So I guess maybe that's not going to be, maybe that's not as good as I thought it was.
Well, the idea of like local radio stations is fine, but I don't get the sense that this was operated under the purview of the BBC.
No, me neither. AM.
There is a link
is linked here
to pirate radio,
okay.
but not specifically pirate radio in England. No, but he had mentioned it earlier.
He did. But this particular radio station is not.
There's also a link to pirate radio in the UK.
Okay.
Radio Caroline is mentioned here. It's talking about the commercial radio influence, which gets us to sort of people operating outside of the strictures of the BBC.
The BBC, right? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, well, that's what he was saying, right? Is that that's why pirate radios kind of existed, right? Is because the BBC wasn't playing what people wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Interesting. So BBC local radio. Local and radio services for England, 40 stations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's probably not going to help us.
There are subsections of BBC, the local services, and they're each individually listed here for Greater London, Greater Manchester, West Yorkshire, and the West Midlands.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Well, then that doesn't sound like what we're looking for. I see the directors here listed. There's some see also. There's NPR's on here. CBC radio's on here.
There you go.
List of songs banned by the BBC. That's probably pretty interesting.
I want to click on that for sure.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty interesting one. All right. Well, I guess either pirate radio in the UK or I mean, we could try going through AM, but I feel like that's going to be too broad, right?
Possibly.
Because you said that they were broadcast on AM, but it seems... Oh, how about public service broadcasting in the United Kingdom?
Where's that?
It's under First Charter. And when you mouse over, it says, in the United Kingdom, the term public service broadcasting refers to broadcasting intended for public benefit rather than to serve purely commercial interests.
Interesting.
Could that be a thing to go through?
It's certainly possible.
There's also a British weekly magazine called Radio Times that is linked in here.
Is there?
Yeah. Gosh, there's all kinds of interesting ideas and places that we could go through here. What do you think, man?
Gosh, I was really hoping that we might get to like a list of radio stations or other uses for radio. Like what was the link that you had about the non-commercial uses?
The link is it just says public service broadcasting in the United Kingdom, and I guess it's public service broadcasting. I guess that's what page it takes you to. It's tough to tell when you mouse over what the actual page is.
Where is the link itself?
Under history and then under First Charter. It is in the second paragraph. It is the last link in that second paragraph.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I feel like public services broadcasting definitely falls under that umbrella. Like, unless it's all some big grift that they're making scads of money off of. But
now again, I do hate categories, but I do want to point out there is a category called Internet Radio in the United Kingdom.
Is it Internet radio though? Did I miss that?
It is broadcast online.
Okay, so it
is not exclusively Internet radio, but it is broadcast online. Now, that doesn't mean that it's on that page, right? Because maybe those are ones that are exclusive.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably a chancier pick. Listen, you're driving the bus here because you've been pointing out all the great links that we've had.
All right. So you like public service broadcasting?
I do, but specifically because it says public service broadcasting in the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's give it a go.
Let's do it. Oh,
public
boy.
Service.
Very short.
It's a short page.
Sure is.
Oh, it's a short page. Uh-oh.
You've tricked me. The good news is we can get to the BBC.
Yeah. Wow, that is the name of the page too. Public Service Broadcasting in the United Kingdom. It is a very long title. BBC is linked. Ofcom, the Office of Communications, is linked here.
Oof.
Channel 4, the Broadcasting Act of 1990.
Man, oh boy.
Channel 5, and we're done.
We are having a hard time here. And there's not even any, there's the categories it links to are television in the United Kingdom and public broadcasting in the United Kingdom.
Which we didn't think about. This was public service broadcasting, not just radio.
Oh, we flew too high on borrowed wings. And here we are.
We can't even get back to BBC Radio. We can get back to BBC, but not BBC Radio.
I mean, does the back button count? Is that?
You're not allowed to use the back button. That's one of the rules.
Oh boy.
Oh boy is right. Gosh, how did we get into television?
This never would have happened if we'd gone through John Cleese.
Amen. Well, I'm going to suggest we either go to BBC, which is a different page than we were just on, or we go to Ofcom, the Office of Communications.
So I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Do it.
Under the history, it says the BBC, whose broadcasting in the UK is funded by a license fee and does not sell advertising time, is most notable for being the first public service broadcaster in the UK. Its first Director General, Lord Reith.
Yeah.
And Lord Reith is linked there. And Lord Reith, an older fella, is going to be during the heyday of radio rather than TV. So he might get us back into English radio in a way that going to Ofcom or whatnot would take us longer to get to. And we get to learn about Lord Reith.
Huh. I can't imagine that this is going to be a good idea, but I'm having a tough time. I mean,
it's a terrible idea. But there are so many other worse ideas that are linked on this page that it might be the best of the bad options that we have.
All right. Lord Reith it is.
Lord Reith. Here we go. Look at this.
Good Lord.
He's got a big old page.
The Lord Reith. Oh, John Reith, 1st Baron Reith.
There's a section called Reithianism, which describes certain principles of broadcasting associated with Lord Reith. That's fantastic.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. He was in office from 1927 to 1938.
So many great things.
As the Director General of the BBC. Then he was the Minister of Information. The Minister of Information. What a fantastic title. Yeah. Right, so I see Marconi in here. That's a radio thing.
Absolutely.
Radio Times. We are back. Radio Times is back. We could try to go through Radio Times this time.
Reith also expressed his admiration for Benito Mussolini.
Okay.
Reith's daughter, Marista Leishman, wrote that in the 1930s, her father did everything possible to keep Winston Churchill and other anti-appeasement conservatives off the airwaves.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. We're learning a lot about Lord Reith, aren't we?
Wow. I'm glad we've learned so much about this gentleman.
Indeed. Boy, howdy.
I'm going to put gentleman in quotes, too. I don't see a whole lot on here about the third program is back, which was that radio station I was talking about that eventually became Radio 3. And Radio Times is on here. I don't see a whole lot else that's radio related here.
Where is the third program?
Third program is I've lost it. Nope, there it is. It is under later years. And it says, however, one picture was of a Henry Moore sculpture. Quote, a third program carpenter forsooth, he growled.
Gotcha. I mean, we're looking for a radio station, and that is a radio station.
It is.
I feel like that is a good place to go. And also, quite frankly, this guy was Neville Chamberlain's Minister of Information.
Oh my gosh, from Harry Potter.
No, you're thinking of Neville Longbottom. Once again, although great callback.
Thanks.
Great callback.
Thank you.
Great callback.
So you really think that the third program, I mean, I understand it is a radio station. I don't know that that's necessarily going to get us
Matt,
into another radio station.
I'm noticing
I
a
feel
pattern
like-
here. You mentioned a link. You're like, hey, look at this link. And I'm like, that's a good idea. Let's click on it. And then you're like, I don't know, Jethro.
But I said Radio Times was on here before, and I actually think Radio Times is a better way to go than this one. They're both possibilities, and I did point them both out. You're right, but I'm just saying I think that Radio Times might be a better option.
And why so? Why do you think it's a better option?
Because Radio Times is about all the radio that goes on in the UK, right? A British weekly listings magazine devoted to television and radio program schedules. Oh, well, maybe not. Well, other features such as interviews, film reviews, lifestyle items. Oh, maybe not. Okay, never mind. I'm going to take it back. I'll do what you want to do. You've twisted my arm. Fine, I'll do your thing. What did you want to go? Where do you want to go?
Okay, I was suggesting that we go to
the third program.
Third program that you said.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Third program. BBC third program. Oh, another very short page.
God damn it. Oh, it's not that bad. Come on.
It's no whatever the last thing we did, what public service broadcasting. But it's not long either.
Test match cricket.
Great. That's long. That takes some time. Yeah, this is talking. Oh, this is not good. This is not good, Jethro.
There is a list of BBC radio stations that's linked here.
Yeah, that's been. I like radio stations established in 1946 and radio stations disestablished in 1967. I feel like they're the categories we should go check out. Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, we're in deep now, my friend.
We certainly are, my friend, but we're not going to give up hope.
Oh no, never.
We're going to find our way through.
I would never.
I would not want to embarrass you in front of your father-in-law by having his destination be the one that causes us to fail.
I wouldn't worry about it.
How dare you disparage him?
I'm not disparaging anybody. Programs. It's BBC radio programs. School radio. A division of the BBC providing audio learning resources for primary schools in the United Kingdom. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. List of BBC. Yeah. Okay. You want to try a list of BBC radio stations?
Well, I mean, possibly.
I don't see much else to go through. I mean, the rest of these are like very specific programs that are on. I mean, Radio 3 is linked here as well, but that's not going to really help us because it's going to be the same type of information that we have now. Kilohertz is on here. We don't even know what it is. It's broadcast on AM, but we don't even know what the what the frequency is. Couldn't even find it that way.
Yeah. I like list of BBC radio stations.
All right. List of BBC radio stations. Let's give it a go. Oh, goodness. This is a long page.
There we go. See? And Liverpool is in the East or East Midlands. Is that correct?
Liverpool is actually in the kind of northwest of the country.
Is it?
Yeah. But they're not in Liverpool. Let's be clear. This is not. It is not located in Liverpool. But I mean, certainly we could get to a Radio Liverpool or something like that through here. But I would say that that's not going to. I mean, then we're gonna have to go geographically. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
See also list of radio stations in the United Kingdom.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, let's go to that.
That's what I was hoping existed earlier in the hunt.
Well, there it is. List of radio stations in the United Kingdom. Let's go to it.
All right. Now, there are 2 pages in this category out of 2 total. One of which we just came from, list of BBC radio stations.
Wait, what no. No, it's under the C also. It's just called List of Radio Stations in the United Kingdom.
Ah, sorry, my bad. I was clicking on something else. All right, look at this.
Don't click.
This is a much bigger article. This is fantastic.
Yes.
I tell you what, there are a lot of them that start with BBC. I tell you what.
There are, but there's a whole section of local, and I'm going down in it, and it's not listed.
What? How dare you?
Radio Bath to Radio City to Radio Essex.
That I don't care for that at all. Why are there so many BBC stations?
Order. I don't know. Former radio stations not listed there either, which makes sense.
No, but that's local commercial radio.
It is local commercial. You're absolutely right.
This is not commercial, so we have to.
You're right.
I'm willing to bet the non-commercial stuff is way down at the bottom. Man, there's a lot of.
Oh, how about community radio stations?
Oh, I like that. Where are you seeing that?
Too. Down closer to the bottom.
There it is.
Radio. Nope. Not under here either. Radio Cabin, Radio 9 Springs, Radio Plus.
There's The Cat, serving crew in Nantwich, 107.9.
I love it. There's former community radio stations, also not on that list, although these aren't in alphabetical order, so I guess it could be, it's not former, so it shouldn't be on this list. If it is, then there's real problems. They left, and here we are.
How about under hospital radio stations?
Oh, you have one of those?
It is at the
I see it.
The dead last part of the article there.
And there it is.
Radio Clatterbridge.
Radio Clatterbridge. 1386 AM.
LPAM.
My goodness gracious. Clatterbridge Health Park, Wirral, UK.
Fantastic.
We found it.
We did. Clatterbridge is a community hospital radio station based at Clatterbridge Health Park, Wirral, UK. Wow. It is also a registered UK charity. So there you go.
Yeah, just as we were told. Again, not a super long page here, but
hold on. The station notably carried the first broadcast interview with the Beatles. Holy moly!
Well, that would have been good information for us to have, huh?
Yeah, way to bury the lead there, Mr. Eveleigh.
Wow. So we could have potentially gotten here through the Beatles.
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because we might have to do a runoff here.
Oh, right. Yeah, we better not talk too much about it. Okay. Well, let's not. Well, there is a link to the website. He did mention radioclatterbridge.co.uk, 1386 AM. Well, there you go. We've made it, Jethro. We have done it, and I don't want to talk too much more about it because you're right. If we came in close to each other or something like that, the number of links it took us though was it tied our highest. Because our trip from William Moulton Marston to the Fluffernutter took us 9, as did Gilda Radner to
our season high.
Clatterbridge.
Our season high, not our all-time.
No, not our all-time. Ties our season high. So it was 9. Do you want to tell me what you had first? You want me to tell you what I had first?
I guessed 8.
You guessed 8?
I guessed 8.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I guessed. Let's say that this is a 9.
No, that's a 6 that has been underlined that you've turned
I put a line
down.
above. I put a line above the 9 to make it obvious that it was above the. Shit. 8.
I guess
good 8. For you, man. Wow. How did you figure that out?
I sensed something about a community hospital radio station that was not going to be a broadly linked thing in my.
I mean, I've thought that in other things too, and I got surprised. So that's why I was like, well, I'm not going to go 5, but maybe 6. But no, sure enough, 9 it took us. 8 you guessed. Well done.
Well, thank you, sir.
You are the champion. And I don't want to. No spoilers or anything, but I think you may have won the season on this one. We do have another episode left, though, so don't forget that. And maybe we'll play Double or Nothing on the last episode.
Sure.
I don't think that would matter. Actually, I think you're beating me by way more than 2. But next week, we will be starting at Radio Clatterbridge, and we'll be venturing off to our starting point from this season. And I'm not going to tell you what that is, folks. If you want to know what that is, you go see, or tune in next week.
Dun, dun, dun.
A little bit of suspense.
Yeah.
For you. For the podcast, I mean. Where are you going?
I got it. I got
Goodbye.
it. I had to.
I thought you were leaving.
I had to burp, so I stepped away from the microphone.
Can we end this somehow? How do we end this?
I thought we did.
Oh,
I feel like there's an ending there. You know what?
yeah.
If there wasn't an ending there, then there certainly is now.
When?
Oh, God damn it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again for listening to Drunkard's Walk. And a big thank you to Jesse Eveleigh for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork. Of course, a big thank you to my father-in-law, Mike Eveleigh, for being our guest this week. If you really like what you're hearing here, go give us a review or a rating on iTunes or wherever you're listening to your podcasts, and head on over to Patreon. Send us a couple bucks and we'll send you some lost episodes, as well as a chance for, you can get a sticker, you can get a t-shirt. There's all sorts of great stuff that you can grab over there. So we really hope you're enjoying the show, and a happy new year to everybody out there. A good 2022. Take care.